about security in Nigeria and how the present government is keeping everything in control. And we have joining us to do that ALIYU UMAR BABANGIDA as a security resource and solutions consultant.
He was also of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Yes.
Captain ALIYU UMAR BABANGIDA.
Yes. Okay.
He'll be talking about the way forward in this security situation, and also be sharing with us a little of his thoughts, because tomorrow UMAR BABANGIDA will be a guest speaker at a forum for youths at the presidential villa in Abuja. So I think tonight he'll be sharing some of his thoughts with us. But also, we're also talking to John FASHANU, ambassador.
Yes.
You know.
And, you know, I mean, a great footballer of repute worldwide. And he's very, very, of course, involved in football. Is going to maybe help me understand this Ojikalu's ambition of becoming president of FIFA. I don't know how that works out, but I'm sure John will be able to tell us a little bit more how that works. And of course,
whether it's feasible.
Yes, whether it's feasible or not. And then there's a 1 billion naira suit from Stephen Keshi for wrongful dismissal from the NFF. We'll talk about that a little bit. You know, 1 billion naira, Obiora, to give you that. What would you do?
Nothing. I'll go blank.
Well,
all that.
Keshi's about to become a very rich man.
Very rich man.
Yes.
All that when we return after this break.
Beauty, wonder, relaxation, creativity, peace. These are few of the many things that this world brings us. This world is beautiful. Give thanks for it. Do not think of what you do not have, but focus on more what you do have. Appreciate life for what it has given you. Take a breath. Forget any stress or worry that you have. Look all around you. Everything is good. Many would say that this world is corrupt. That's because they're not looking at the beauty in it. Thank the universe for how unique and mysterious it could be. Do not be afraid of life's mysteries, but embrace them. It can be very mind-blowing, but I find it fascinating. This world is infinite, and so is your future. If you want success, you must do anything in your power to achieve it. Anything is possible. Just look at the world around you. Dreams do come true. Be yourself. Don't be scared about what others have to say about you. Negative people will try to stand in your way. Don't let them stop you from achieving what you want. You may fall down and have failures, but you will heal from it. Pain is only temporary. Some things may leave scars just like physical wounds, but you must keep pushing forward. You can do it. Never give up. You must do what will make you happy, not what others want you to do. Do not let the fear of the future and the regret of the past ruin the happiness of the present. What if today was your last day? Would you live it differently? Life is a mist. Appreciate it and live every day to the fullest. Don't worry. Be happy.
Yeah, don't worry. Be happy. Try to live every single day to the fullest. Something I try to tell myself all the time. Very, very wonderful message there. All right, we get down to today's discussion. Joining us now, Captain Retired ALIYU UMAR BABANGIDA, to talk about security situation in the country.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Captain.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, the last time we talked with you, you were in faraway Lagos.
Yes.
And you just weighed in on the phone with us, but we're glad you're here today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
In the flesh.
Yeah, so Captain, 50 Nigerians die again today, courtesy of Boko Haram, you know,
The market.
as your security experts say, soft targets. What's going on?
I do try to look at it conversely. And conversely means entering a terrorist's mind and borrowing his eyes. And I think there is a gap we are yet to fill. And so he exploits it. I was thinking that after Nyanya, after the terminus market in Jos, Nyanya in Abuja, after the Kano bus park, we should have gotten our baptism. And what is happening now is really nothing new. And I actually hinted once that it's high time the Civil Defense Force, the Nigerian Police Force, the DSS had a blueprint for securing such areas. I'll tell you something, thinking like a terrorist. What they exploit in those areas you call soft targets is one thing, disorder. When it happened in Nyanya or Kano, we should have gone in there, put the pieces back together, try to see what happened. Then we now build a blueprint going forward. Markets of this population or this size should begin to conform to this design or risk being shut down. By now, we should be seeing where these security agencies I have mentioned will slam security alert states on these areas, public areas, that do not conform to the minimum security requirement. By now, we should expect markets, large markets, to have chief security officers. By now, members of the NURTW and other allied agencies in our parks should start thinking of having a security department. By now, stakeholders, traders who own stores should know that if we slam a security alert state on your market and people don't come there, it's going to affect your business.
No doubt.
If you go that way, you're going to see an all-inclusive approach. I wouldn't pay $500,000 for a store, and because we can't
Not being able to sell anything.
exactly. A state of alertness simply is what you hear them do in foreign countries. They say they're giving country advice on XYZ airports to their citizens. We are placing it under maybe red alert or orange alert or yellow alert, depending on the stage or level of concerns. You may want to think twice about going there. That affects business. And the stakeholders there will say, no, we can't possibly allow this rating to affect. So if we say we're going to do it law enforcement heavy, it won't work. It has to be all inclusive. By now I expected we should have had such a blueprint, which we now escalate. We escalate them across all markets. It doesn't matter the region, doesn't matter the place, because these things don't ring bells when they happen.
Yeah.
So thinking with the eyes of a terrorist, these things didn't happen. We've lost ground in Maiduguri. There is an onslaught. We don't have a landing. We're on the run. How do I run my operations at minimal costs, maximum effect? We go back to bombs. A bomb is an expensive device to make. Before you can get people to get to do it, before you can get someone to carry it, you are going to part with a lot of money. And so you are going to put it where it can do
Maximum damage.
maximum damage. And when you look through the eyes of a terrorist, where do you get to do maximum damage?
Public places.
Public places, markets, where there is what? Disorder. So, the SSS, the Civil Defense Force, the Nigerian Police Force, they have work to do. They have to go into this.
You know, looking through the eyes of a terrorist now, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the strategy that they are employing at the moment. In one breath, you hear talk of we want to sit down and negotiate with you, with government. We want to be able to talk to somebody in government. In another breath, bombs are, you know, still going off and people, you know, are dying. So is it that there's some kind of strategy to relax government a little bit while they still continue doing damage? Because by telling them we want to talk, the government gets an impression that they want to, you know, come out of whatever it is they're doing. So
that again will depend on what the chieftains, the intelligence and security chieftains, feed the government. Let's do it again the way I told you. Let's do it conversely. If I were a chieftain and a terrorist chieftain says he wants to negotiate, I don't go looking for reasons why he wants to negotiate. I'll go looking for 10 reasons why he doesn't want to negotiate. You see, we are creatures of habit. If I was told that you had a weapon, or if I was told you had done some things with public funds, if I went looking for reasons why I should believe you'd done so, then that wristwatch on your hand will convince me. But if I did it conversely, and I looked for 10 reasons why you shouldn't have touched public funds, that's now what you call critical thinking. If you think that way, you're not going to fall through to deception. Fine, they want to negotiate. I've heard. Now I'm going to go and find 10 reasons why they don't want to negotiate. So if you look at the statement and you look at the occurrence, the bomb in that market is 1. So I have to look for 9 more.
yeah.
So I'm not going to be given to what happened when we had the ceasefire. And our president was stood up, and at the end of the day, we had what you can call a hoax, not really a ceasefire. So basically, if you go into what we call critical thinking, and you did a lot of your analysis based on that, you're going to be less vulnerable to deceit. You're going to be less vulnerable to deception, because as I told you, we are creatures of habit. If you profile a situation and the body language doesn't match the spoken word, then you know that there's something missing somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and now talking about negotiations, who are we negotiating with? These people are faceless. These people haven't even accepted in the first place that this is exactly what they stand for. They identify with a cross-section of spurious things, you know. One minute they want to form a caliphate, another minute they don't want education, another minute they don't know or recognize any government, you know. And you don't come to the negotiation table with conditions. If you are ready to negotiate, you're going to be coming open. We're looking at a win-win situation. So when you come to negotiate and you already have a list of things you want done, it's no longer a negotiation. So basically for me, we've already gone a certain way. Let's go the whole way.
Let's go the whole hog.
Let's go the whole hog.
Okay, Captain, just before President Jonathan left office, a lot of Nigerians had this feeling that we were winning the war. But after the new government took over, a lot of Nigerians are scared once again that we are losing the war. My question is, and I've heard it in a couple of places, was it that the new equipment came, they were overwhelmed, they didn't quite understand it, and then they had time to get used to the new equipment? What actually you know, I mean, talking from your experience, what could have been responsible? Because we see our government making a lot of efforts to get it right, but it seems not to be working.
Over 600 people have died since May 29 when Buhari took over.
When the Jonathan government was in place, pre-PMB, we had a merry-go-round effect. That's my opinion. Were we winning the war, or were we winning it and losing it and winning it again and losing it again? We gain grounds, we lose grounds. We gain grounds, we lose grounds. That's basically what was happening. There was a merry-go-round effect. Then there was this magical 6 weeks within which grounds were taken and held.
At unprecedented levels.
At unprecedented level.
So what went wrong?
Now, that's it. I spoke about stereotypes. If you do things the same way, you're going to get the same results. The Northeastern campaign, if I can call it that, may be bitter and bloody, but it's meant to be a learning point. We're supposed to come out better, wiser, stronger. And we do that from lessons learnt. Now, what are the lessons learnt, and how can we improve on what we've done? That didn't seem to be happening during the Jonathan period. If you took a town, and having taken the town, you lost that town only to take it and lose it again, then it means there is no learning curve. You should be able to do more with less, and the more you do it repeatedly, the faster and quicker and better you become. So there was no learning curve then. Now, what exactly is happening? I'll tell you what is happening. You see, that war is not won physically, it's won mentally. Everything you see a soldier and troops do is just a physical manifestation of what has happened in the heads of our troop commanders. So first and foremost, you have to win the war in your heads and in your minds. And how do you do that? Our military has to open up a bit more to what we call intellectual rigor. That war is not entirely a general's business. Those in the know need to be tasked, need to be reached out to, need to be sourced to assist you. There are a lot of subtleties that these boys exploit to rout a fighting unit. Let me give you a typical example. I was talking to a colleague in the United States, and she was suggesting to me a dust map.
What does that mean?
A dust map is actually drawing a dust map of that area, which is a desert area, and you could possibly exploit the dust to a general's favor to probably spring an attack or shield his troops. These desert boys, they grew up there, they have native ability, they know these things. If you had a dust map or a sand map and you brought a professor of maybe soil texture or soil topography, he will root out areas where your heavy vehicles and weapons must not thread within the desert sand area. The natives, the insurgents, know it, so they could actually pull your tanks into those areas, and when they are trapped in there, they take the vehicles.
Are demobilized?
See, so knowing the ground. Other than that, she also asked me whether the troops were acclimatized. If you want to understand that, think our football team. If you had to take them to a country that had extremes of temperature to play a match, you probably go there 2 weeks to time so they can acclimatize. If you don't do that, you will fail successfully. They will lose because the weather will defeat them even before the match
before
starts.
the real match itself.
These are subtleties. The insurgents have natural ability to be resilient to the weather, to the ground, to the terrain. Are you sure our troops do? What could we possibly begin to feed them with? That's where the nutritionist comes in, that will make them resilient to the weather situation. Probably our fashion labels, like who designed your attire, could also come in. What suitable material could we sew that uniform with and dye it the same color so that they could be more well ventilated?
Are you sure the Nigerian army has time for these details.
If you
that
don't
are
have
going
time
into-
for these details, then you have time to bleed. You fight this war in your head before you bloody get on the field, or else ragtags will run cycles around you.
the way they are doing, really.
The dust can cripple an armored tank. If the dust enters your gun, it jams. So what do your soldiers do when their guns jam? They run.
So in other words, we need to work on those details.
Exactly.
Whether it's a murky water,
one
whether
thing
it's a
about
flooded
us-
area, how do we survive
Exactly.
in those areas?
One thing about us in this part of the world is when it comes to the intellect, we shy away from rigor. Somebody once told me, if you want to hide something from Nigerians, put it in the pages of a book. But let me tell you something about the world and countries that have led the world. They are thinkers, not doers. The world pays you more to think, and people who think well lead this world. Everything you do starts in somebody's mind. The shoe I'm wearing, the chair I'm sitting on, that iPad, mention it. Good thinking, according to the Chinese, good product. Yo Shinai, yo Kengai. When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
Our army has to become an intellect-driven army, not a manualist army. The days of manualism are over. Today things are done at the touch of a button. So you have to sit down and win this war across fronts. The army has work to do thinking. The police has work to do thinking. The immigrations has work to do thinking. The customs has work to do thinking.
Everybody.
And if you follow what Albert Einstein said, he said you don't solve a problem at the same level with the problem. You solve a problem a notch higher
Yes.
by going a notch higher. So if we go a notch higher, these boys are given to crudities. If you look at Boko Haram, within 3 years it became one of the most dangerous insurgent groups in the world.
Yes.
Not because they were any sophisticated, but it's just because we were a bit laid back.
All right.
Okay.
But the decision by President Buhari to move the command headquarters to Maiduguri,
Absolutely.
it was
yes.
it was hailed by a lot of people.
Yes.
But the ripple effect from that has not translated to victory in the battlefield, and so people are wondering that maybe that even triggered some heavy response from the insurgents.
Let me explain what a command center is before you begin to know why you may not be getting that response you are expecting. A command center is a war room of sorts where everybody that can give you information on time, real time, is situated. So if you were the chief, you could walk into the command center, take a seat, and you're going to get your medical operations rep giving you information about your troops' health. You're going to get your logistics rep giving you information. You're going to get your intelligence rep giving you information. They are giving you information on time, real time. It helps you maintain a virtual presence or an absent presence on the battlefield. Command centers are run by certain key management information systems, gadgets that collate data and give you signals. And when you get these signals, you glean intelligence from them. Command centers could also begin to see specialists. A geophysicist can actually come into a command center, take your cesspool of data and say, based on what we are seeing, these are probably the kind of vehicles you need here. A meteorologist can come in and say, hey, in the next XYZ days based on this. So a command center is a think tank kind of war room where people sit down to do what you call strategic intelligence. They project things based on what they are getting. You can
but all that is supposed to help you.
All that
achieve
is supposed to
victory,
help you achieve
on
victory,
time.
but not overnight, because you bloody have nothing. Look, we're looking at a very well window-dressed army. We must look our nemesis in the face and tell ourselves some hard-blinking truths. People cannot move from bows and arrows in 3 years to surface-to-air missiles and start grounding your troops. If you went into reports from the United Nations as far back as last year, our troops got under par performance. Nobody is bringing it out. Nobody is talking about it. We don't go buying weapons and we refurbish old weapons the way they refurbish old aircrafts and bring it home. And you expect these weapons to stand the test of battle. We have to begin to understand what we are looking at. We tend to overestimate our armed forces. See, motivation need not be positive. My father had a way of teasing me to motivate me. I don't have to come here and say things our armed forces are not, because I have to be patriotic. You will be the most unpatriotic person if you make these armed forces what it is not.
That's true.
Okay, Captain. I mean, you're scaring me.
You need not be scared. We are not the ones who started this, but we are the ones to stop it.
Yeah,
it's fallen on our generation.
Let's talk for just another 2 minutes.
Okay.
About the presentation you're making at the Villa tomorrow.
Yes.
You'll be the keynote speaker.
I have, yes,
at,
a guest
youth forum,
speaker. Yes.
A guest speaker at the Youth Forum tomorrow at the Presidential Villa, where we're going to have a lot of Nigerian youth.
Yes.
Can you summarize for us what your message will be?
What
you'll be telling the youth?
My message for the youth is they are on, if they continue to embrace violence, drugs, militancy, insurgency, then they are on a self-destruct mission. Let me tell you something, 102 million Nigerians are between the age of 45 downward. If you take that out of 170 million, what it tells you is that Nigeria is pregnant. Nigeria is having a youth bulge, like a woman who is 9 months pregnant. And these youth are actually the ones, agreed we have bad leaders, agreed we have people who have ruled us in ways that are unwholesome. But what do I see in that? I see 30 years of leaders who have taught us everything we shouldn't do again. That we had bad leaders, we can glean one blessing from there. We know all the bad things that shouldn't be done by our leaders because they've given all the samples to us. So now the only thing we know and want to see are the good things. Now our youth, don't go and take 500 naira for God's sake and use 6 hours to shut your community down by mayhem. Then you regret it for 20 years. When you shut a community down, the man who gave you 500 naira, he will request for a security vote of 100 million. You are going to make your 500 naira, then it will take that community 20 years to get back to where you burnt it down from. Hello, Nigerian youths.
So they need to take the narrow path and
if there are
stand up to all these.
If there are 102 million youths on this ground called Nigeria, then you don't need to burn anything down to change it.
Okay, Captain, thanks a million.
Yes, that's why we have to draw the curtain.
All right.
But it's your first time on the show.
Yes, sir.
So you get to go home with...
wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from Lagos.
My pleasure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
All right. All right.
And in a moment, we'll be joined by Ambassador John.
I think the ambassador is ready.
So we should just go ahead.
We should just go ahead and invite Ambassador John FASHANU to join us.
Hi, John. Good to see you.
Yes.
Wow.
John, I like your suit.
Thank you. Thank you. This is actually my daughter. This is what she does, would you believe it?
Oh,
so
really?
I'm very lucky.
Oh, very, very.
John, I like your suit.
Thank you.
What's that? Is that a button or something?
No, which one? This one here?
No,
this. Yeah, that's a button. There's a button.
I never seen anything like
Afterwards, I will dash it to you. As a good Christian, I will dash it to you.
Oh, come on. That'd be nice.
So, John, tell me, all this talk about, Orji Kalu, former governor of Abia State, who, of course, has done some wonderful things with sports, even with the Team Enyimba, 2 successive titles. He's done some wonderful things with sports, but FIFA presidency, a lot of people say, come on, where is he coming from?
Well, let's go back and just think what people said when Good Luck Jonathan was running for presidency. Oh, he won't get that. He doesn't have the pedigree. He's only done this, he's only done that. But look what happened. And what we're saying is, Orji Kalu is a very charismatic man. He's somebody who is a leader in the business world. There are more politics in football than there is in politics.
Oh, I believe that.
Those politicians out there think they're doing having a hard time. You come into the football world. Orji Kalu has been one leg in one side and one leg in the other side, and he's been successful. I was doing an interview earlier today, and somebody said, well, when he goes out of Nigeria, nobody knows him. Oh my goodness me, not correct. That is not true. Out of 4 black people you see anywhere in the world, 1 is a Nigerian. And I assure you that 1 Nigerian will know Orji Kalu. So, you know, I haven't come out and said, I'm going to vie for Orji Kalu. I'm the only one. Before, as somebody who's been in the game for 2 decades and played a lot of football, I've done my homework. Yeah. I've done my investigations. I look to see where our brothers in England are going to support that character. I've asked people like Dr. Amos from the highest level, executive member of FIFA and CAF director, would they support? Not only would they support, they will call for him. But I have to clarify one thing, Mahmoud Obi, that he has not come out and said he wants to be FIFA president. I, coming back from London, see that we have a vacuum. We have Michel Platini, who I know very well.
Okay.
I've been in the game 2 decades. So we can see that most of the people around FIFA, UEFA, are tainted with allegations of corruption.
That's correct, yeah.
It's very difficult for any of them, mark my words, any of them to run for a high position as FIFA president without a skeleton coming out sooner or later.
I mean, the way it is now, they all
it's something else.
But John, let's look at the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
Yes, Orji Kalu has done some local football administration in Nigeria. But we understand there are conditions you meet before you become FIFA president.
Yes.
Orji Kalu is not a member of any football association.
As present now.
At present, he's not a member of CAF.
I mean, the executive committee.
The executive committee and all that. So is he going to drop from heaven and then run for president of FIFA?
Well, you know, as I said before, if I didn't feel that he had the acceptance at the highest level, I wouldn't push him. You know, there are going to have to be concessions all over. I mean, the football game is about trading. It's like horse trading.
Are they going to bend the rules because Orji Kalu is coming out?
Well, I'm not going to say they can bend the rules, but there are certain things that can be done which are still legal. Okay. Which we won't go into right now, because bearing in mind that Orji Kalu has not come out and said, I want to be president of FIFA. We have said it would be great for black Africa, Nigeria, to have a black man, an African man, who understands the international football game to be president. And if we don't take this opportunity now, when are we going to take the opportunity again? So I wouldn't say, and I wouldn't use the word bend the rules, I would say there are certain concessions.
That can be.
Listen to that word. Yes. Concessions that can be implemented to make sure that Orji Kalu can run in that position. Now, I've spent the last 3 weeks in London, and I saw it before, I looked at it and I said, if Orji Kalu becomes FIFA president, it's good for me, it's good for you, it's good for you, it's good for everybody out there, it's good for 53 African countries and could be the world.
I agree with you, John, but I'm looking at the possibility and the feasibility of what you are suggesting. Tell me, what is the strategy? I know that Issa Hayatu, CAF president, always wanted to be FIFA president. And for you to be FIFA president, you need endorsements from your local FA. Yes. You will need endorsement from CAF. you need endorsement from, is it Kokasa or?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you need endorsement from UEFA and all that.
Yeah.
And if my information is correct, this election should be holding towards the end of the year.
That's right. That's right.
So
Well,
is he going to become a member of the NFA, become a member of CAF, or become a member of the executive committee?
Well,
what magic are you guys talking about? Trying to do?
You see, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Mohammed.
Yes, go ahead.
It's not even magic. You know, I said, and I used the word carefully, there are concessions. Concessions could be done, all of these things can be done within a week if you've got the support of those particular organisations. It's very simple.
How about the home government?
If our home government doesn't support it, then we can't start. I am the one who's advocating that I believe that there's a possibility for Orji Kalu to run for president of FIFA. Now, if the government don't support me and support him on that, then it's a no-show. But having said that, I wouldn't come out as John FASHANU, as somebody who's well known in the game of football, unless I believe that the number one people in there were supporting him. And we have to be very, very careful here, because you say, oh, he's done a little bit locally. That locally...
he's been named pillar of sports in Africa.
Exactly. So let's give him credit where credit is due.
Pillar of sports
you know,
in
we can say, well, we can rubbish that and say, well, he hasn't. He has, consecutively, twice. That's not easy. And what is wonderful is, in his own terrain, which is the business world, he's excelled beyond belief. He's turned himself into a billionaire.
That is correct.
In the football world, he has turned a lemon into a lemonade. That's how he did it consecutively. Again, unprecedented in this country at the moment. So we have to give credit where it's due, and we say, who else would be able to fit that slot if that slot became available?
With some level of international acceptance.
With some level of international acceptance.
I mean, Orji was here on the program some time ago. When he was just named, when it was Forbes list of billionaires.
For instance, I don't doubt his capacity to use his international connections, but I'm just looking at the conditions, the procedure.
Yes.
And that's why I used words like, what magic?
But you know, John, looking at FIFA as it is now, I mean, even Michel Platini has been in and out of the race for FIFA, with all the controversy, all the politics, all the bad blood. I mean, there's one other African from Liberia, I think, who mentioned something about running, and
and it fizzled out.
Yeah,
fizzled out.
So much, is FIFA ready for? Because a lot of people,
African president,
not just an African president now. A lot of people describe FIFA as a cult. Is FIFA ready? Is FIFA ready for an outsider, in quote, to come into the game? The way they like to, graduate to positions. You hold a position and then you move on to the next. Move on. Is FIFA ready for an outsider?
Well, you see, I always say, when we say outsider, what do we mean? What do we actually mean? Because Orji Kalu is not an outsider. He knows a lot of members of FIFA. He goes to a lot of meetings. I myself, as still a member of the Professional Football Association, which is the largest association in the world in England, I still have to go to all meetings. I have to, quarterly. And often I will meet with Orji Kalu, going to football meetings, going to FIFA meetings, etc., etc. So he's no stranger to CAF. He's no stranger to FIFA. He's known. His pedigree is known and is accepted. What we've got to ask is Sepp Blatter prepared to have a little bit of a change? And because there's so many controversial issues going on, Mahmoud, at the moment, everybody has been stained. This could be the only opportunity, gentlemen, that we get to place our own homegrown charismatic leader.
But, what do you think about Sepp Blatter's, with the fact that he's, with the bloody nose right now, and what he thinks about Africa? People say, he favors Africa. He's brought the World Cup to Africa.
Well, Africa have kept him in a position of power.
Yes.
We, Africans, our countries, we kept Sepp Blatter in a position of power. When all the other nations went against him, it was only Black Africa, Hayotu in CAF, who supported him. So
he's likely to
very
lend
much
some
so.
support
he wants some support. And it's very difficult now because we don't know whether they're going to prosecute FIFA. And if you prosecute FIFA, who are you going to prosecute? Because, as you said before, it's an organization. FIFA is a country. How do you pull out a president and prosecute a president? That's not easy.
Yes.
Right now, he needs support. And Africa will always support him, and we've always shown it. And how do you know that he doesn't have a relationship with Orji Kalu?
No, I think they do have a relationship. So it's likely to give support in that direction.
Yeah. And you said, Obi, roll out. What is the next step? Where are we going? Well, the next step is to find His Excellency Orji Kalu and say to him, are you ready to run for the highest office in football?
You've not spoken to him on this?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I came back and I said, out of everybody, this is what I believe is the man that can run for this position.
Are you alone in this thought?
No. Oh my goodness me. I mean, you know, I've gone out before I came out publicly. I've gone and I've searched and I've felt the temperature at different areas to make sure that other people are with me. You will see different people coming out. You will see Dr. Amos, who's come out already and said that it would be excellent for Africa. Orji Kalu, the next FIFA president. Peter Side. Again, these are big names. And come out and said from South Africa, Orji Kalu is my choice. So you'll wait, you'll see, I'm sure, our Mokachis and Kanus and all of our friends coming out. Well, we aren't saying it because we're his friends. If we didn't believe that Orji Kalu had the capacity to manage that high esteemed office, we couldn't run because my reputation is on the line.
As well.
As well.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so maybe we should, before he goes.
Yes, because I was thinking that
we should, one or two things.
About what's going on
yes,
in Nigeria.
John,
Yeah.
Stephen Keshi wants ₦1 billion for wrongful dismissal by the NFF. How does that, strike you?
You know, Mahmood, I'm disappointed that's got so ugly. You know, it's like a bad divorce. You know, when they get bad, we know, and I know more than most people. So when they do get...
You got some experience.
That's got some experience. Obi, please don't go there, bro. don't go there. Yeah, thanks, Mahmood. You know, I mean, it's an ugly divorce. You know, but trying to actually sue the NFF, NFA is very, very difficult. Where do you start? I'm hoping that somebody, as an elder, will come in between them, quietly,
settlement.
A little bit of settlement. You can't have Sunday coming in and getting 3 months up front when you have the person who's just left who's complaining hasn't been paid for how many months. It's
not too tidy.
It's not tidy at all, and I hope Pinnick is a leader, and he's a good friend, but he's a good leader. I hope that he will have the maturity to step up, bring the Keshi together with the NFF and say, right now, let's have an amicable settlement. Go your way, we will go our way, and when we see each other next time, we can shake hands.
But let me ask you, John, the way the Keshi thing has panned out, can it actually allow a local coach like Sunday, put his all and all in his job, knowing that someone can wake up the next morning and throw you out without salaries?
Without shadow of doubt. Anybody going to a job where somebody has been kicked out unmercifully will have slight reservations.
Yes,
even if you give me 10 months salary up front, I will still take it and think, I've got to be careful. So it's not a good thing. It wasn't a good decision. I'm not saying it was Pinnick, but whoever's the leader didn't do very well there. It should have been behind closed doors. It happens every day. It happens every day. Sort it out, and on we go for the next one.
Okay, John.
All right.
Always nice speaking with you.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there.
But I'm taking you up on the suit.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Hey,
not yet.
All right. I guess this is where we'll draw the curtain on the show tonight. I want to thank Ambassador John FASHANU so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll be back here on Friday, 11 p.m. with another edition of the program. Thank you so much, and bye for now. I am Mahmoud Akuga.
Obiora Ilu. John, we wish you all the luck. We wish Ojikalo all the luck. Don't forget that we'll be back, like Mahmoud said, 11 p.m. Friday.